Howdy all, Muglax Lives. I think it's time to play a little Infi-Tech 2. Alright, I did take a little bit of time to work on here since last time. I did not finish, but I've gotten pretty close. Probably finish at least putting up these today, maybe. Man, I really wanted to have this done, and then I didn't, because, you know, I got in the mood to play Infamous again, and they had it on the PlayStation streaming game service. So I saw that I could sign up for the rest of the year for like $20. And I'm like, all right, I give this a shot instead of finding my Infamous discs and hooking my PlayStation 3 back up. And I think my PlayStation 3 might be hooked up. I know it was. I'm just not sure what channel it's attached to at this point. There's a good chance it's plugged into my surround sound system, which I don't use. Man, I used to, for sure. But I've stopped. Anyways, yeah, it turns out at least what I've played with it so far, streaming service does not like Starlink. So I've got Starlink for my internet, and because there's nothing else available at that high a speed in my area, and it turns out it works okay. It really depends on what you're doing. Being a gamer, it's not great, but it works okay for my job, and it works great for like downloading things. It's spectacular. Uploading things, it's spectacular. But anything that, where is the door? Anything that requires like always on and steady internet, it does not work well for. So, um, for me, so far, that has only been trying to use the streaming service from PlayStation, and it's a little wonky for Discord voice chat. And those are really the only two things that I've had any problems with it from. And other than that, it's been pretty good. Oh man, I'm like out of torches. Torch. Oh man, are there not just regular? Oh, here we go. I don't have any sticks. Stick. That's not stick. That's sick. Stick. Are they called sticks? Yeah. Right here. Um, what's weird, and this is what I find really weird, is that um, the game gets pixelated. I don't really get a very good quality, really, ever on the streaming service through Starlink, the PlayStation streaming, and so the image is a little blurry, but I don't care. And it's not blurry enough to stop me from being able to like read things or anything like that. It's just like, I could tell this should be a little crisper than it is, and then it'll get really pixelated, and then I'll get this warning that my internet is not good enough to stream from the gaming service. But it doesn't stop me from being able to play. Um, and like I don't think I've ever, and I've played quite a bit. I'm almost actually done with the first Infamous game. Um, that's not true. I'm almost done clearing the map on the extra quests where you take over the city again. I can't remember if there's another section to the game or not, but I'm almost done with the first island, anyways. And uh, but the problem is that the system or the service itself will tell you that your internet's not good enough, and then it will just shut itself down. But it never reached a point where where it didn't immediately respond to my controls. Like it's not like I'm jerking all over the place or something. And so I don't understand why I'm not allowed to play even if it's a little blurry sometimes. And it's just like, nope, you have 20 seconds and then we're shutting down. I'm like, but it's cleared up. The blurriness has gone away. You're telling me I gotta shut down even though it's working fine now? Come on, man. I just want to play this game. And with Infamous, it can be super annoying because the game plays with quests, and it doesn't acknowledge where you are in a quest. And uh, so if it shuts down while I'm in the middle of a quest, I have to start the whole quest over. So sometimes it takes me 3 or 4 tries to hit a patch that's stable enough for the streaming service to make it all the way through, which is super annoying. Fun game though. I do like the Infamous series. If you don't know what Infamous is, it's uh, like a superhero game where your guy starts off as a bike messenger. You don't control him during this point, and he was supposed to deliver a package. And when he got to the point where they were going to deliver the package, um, the inside the package was a prototype experimental device that drains the uh, electricity from humans and then condenses it into a single human. And so when it exploded, killing everyone around you, it also took out a huge chunk of the city. And then, for whatever reason, they call you the terrorist. And so then from there, uh, uh, you have a buddy. He's kind of shady, and so the whole city's like without power, for the most part. This gang called the Reapers moves in and takes over, and they quarantine the city. And so you now have the ability to uh, throw lightning. and you have some like your dude can now jump long distances and fall long distances without taking damage. Um, and then you get XP in the game, and so you spend the XP on leveling some of your abilities, and as the story progresses, you gain access to new abilities. And then it's also got like a light side, dark side thing going. So every once in a while, you'll do either a main game quest or a storyline quest that will give you the option to perform either a good or a bad version of the quest. So, like for example, the first time it happens, you're trying to get out of the city, and you get to the quarantine gate that they put up across the bridge, and so the quest says they go into like a little cutscene thing, and your guy goes, uh, there's like a bunch of guards, and so he's like, I could take on the guards by myself, um, which would be dangerous for me, right? Or I can fire a few bolts at the guards from different positions within the crowd that's gathered, and then let the guards in the crowd fight each other and then clean up once it's all over. Actually, that might not be the first one. The first one might be a plane goes over and drops a food supply into the quarantine zone, and when you get there, the Reapers show up and take it. And so once you finish taking out the Reapers, then it gives you a choice of letting the crowd uh, at the supplies or taking all the supplies for yourself. I think that's actually the first one. So there's like a little bar or a meter on the side where you're leveling up your good or evil guardian, or I never go bad, so I don't know what the bad one's called. Chaos, maybe? I don't know. But then that locks or unlocks abilities as you go, because there's good and bad abilities. So it's a lot like a Star Wars game, right? Where you either go Jedi or you go Sith in that regards. But it's pretty fun. The thing is that the first couple of games were on the PlayStation 3, and so all the PlayStation 3 stuff is only accessible through the streaming service now. I mean, unless you have the actual equipment to play it and stuff, which I do, and I probably should have just done that because I'd have been done by now instead of having to rehash things. But my PlayStation 5 is all hooked up and ready to go, and I thought I'd give this streaming thing, a gander. I I'll probably end up lowering down to the lower tier when it gets closer to my update, my not my renewal for PlayStation Plus. That's what it's called. I couldn't think what it was called, and uh, but my Starlink did update yesterday, so I haven't done anything yet to see if the update helped any of that stuff. I'll find out tonight because tonight should be D&D Starfinder night. It'll be Starfinder tonight. I'll be running the game. I will be the one in charge. But yeah, so that's what I ended up doing this weekend and still working on this. uh, yeah, there's a bunch of Infamous games. I don't think I've played them all. I know I purchased the last one, but I don't think I ever played it. Um, uh, And the thing is that they're like the first game and the second game are the same character, if I remember correctly. And then there's like some DLCs that go with them. But then the third game and the games after that are all new characters. And so their story I didn't think was quite as good as the original Infamous games. Like the last game, I think it was the last game, was a character you meet in the third game, and so I never played her game. Provided my gaming ADD, which is terrible, I really can't stick with games for some reason. I know it looks like it, but it's not true. I have found that if I'm not recording a game, that I do not play it very long, unfortunately. Although I did complete my first game solely on the Steam Deck, and that was Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy number 1. I own so many versions of Final Fantasy 1, let me tell you. It's one of my favorite games. I still enjoyed it so much. It's a very simple RPG if you've never seen it. It's from the Nintendo, the original Nintendo era, the Nintendo Entertainment System. Although, as the years have progressed and they keep releasing it, they keep making changes to it, and so the version that I played through was an easier version than the original, for sure. I don't know if the original, the Japanese version, is harder than the American released version, but there's a few different versions of it, and while the version I played, the Pixel remake, was not as easy as some of the other remakes of it that I've played through, it was easier than the original. Mostly, I don't know if it was a programming thing or um, uh, like nobody just knew what they were doing at the time. But in the original that I played, not the Japanese one, the American one, the three big differences between the Nintendo one and the later versions. One, I want to say spells were very specific, and so uh, you were very limited on how many spells you could cast, and I don't remember if it was spell slot based or if like it must have been spell slot based, meaning that you have nine slots. Well, okay, spell slot is a thing from like D&D. So what that means is you have a specific number of times you can cast a certain level spell. So like you can cast your first level spells 9 times. It doesn't matter which one you cast, but you can only cast 9 times at first level, and then once that's done, you're done. And so the version I just played still had that, but some of the other versions I played had mana points, and so you cast whatever you wanted as long as you still have mana points. So that's a big difference that some of the other versions had, because that completely changes the game, because not every level has good spells, and so if I can only cast my first level spells 9 times, although there were not, I don't remember there being ether potions in the Nintendo, the original Nintendo version, and there were in this Pixel remake, and so I was able to carry some potions that would let me fill back up my slots. I almost guarantee those did not exist in the original version. Um, Another thing, the run button, that wasn't a thing, and that was in the version I just played, but that was definitely not in the original. You walked square by square everywhere in the original. Uh, and then probably the one of the biggest changes after the original version of it was and this is crazy, but the original game, you have your team, and then when you go to fight, you tell your team who to target. And so like there might be 6 wolves on the screen, right? And so you say, all right, fighter, attack this wolf. Monk, attack this wolf. Or maybe you do fighter and monk attack this wolf because you don't know how strong a wolf is. And so then as the combat goes, the fighter goes and it kills the wolf. And so that wolf is dead. Well, the monk had already targeted that wolf, and so the monk attacks an empty space for that turn. And so the newer versions automatically swap targets to the next target. So uh, that's even worse when your casters do the same thing. In fact, if I remember correctly, you would tell your casters to attack, and they are gonna take their turn. Like there's no not taking a turn, and so even if you've won the fight, your guys are still gonna cast their spells, even though the fight's over and there's no one left for them to hit. Uh, and given that you were limited as to what you could attack, or how many spells you could cast, I mean, um, that really sucks when your black mage casts his highest level spell on something that's no longer there, and that was your last cast for it, and you're coming up on the boss, uh, and you only did it because you thought you were gonna die. Yeah, uh, and so now they stop. They're done. Which to me is 6 one way, half dozen the other kind of thing, because your your heals also work that way, and so it was nice to finish the fight and then have your healer heal all the damage that you were going to have to heal anyways. Uh, Another thing that the new one had, the Pixel remake had, probably some of the other versions had too, but not the original, was the auto button. And so you would go through your turn, and however you wanted to set up what your guys were doing, and then um, you would just hit the auto button, and then it would just repeat those commands. Although I cast a lot of spells that I didn't mean to cast because I kept thinking, "Oh yeah, I'll just auto do this because these guys aren't that bad," and then it remembers what I did in the last thing, and so it's like flare. I'm like, "Oh no, these guys are so weak. You can just kill them with your dagger. You don't have to flare. Don't. Oh, there goes one of my spell slots." Flare is the big black mage spell, so. But yeah, it's always been one of my favorite games ever since I played it the first time. Um, it's super super fun to get the float stone and then get your airship going. Oh, I love airships. I don't think there are enough airships in games. All right. Nope. Man, I thought we were done putting down these torches. We done now? Nope. All right. There is one giant box where I believe nothing can spawn that is 3 tall and 3 wide, which I believe the wither is. Because my whole goal is to stop that thing from being able to teleport. So now we've got one. Oh, this doesn't work because. All right, so we're 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, 16. 16 would be 32, 33, 34, 35. Because I believe my box is 35 by 35. So this is the middle floor. All right. And then we go 1, 2, 5, 8, 11, 14, 17, 17. So this is about the middle here. It's technically here. This is the middle. All right. So this is the middle of the box right here. This spot is the middle of this box. So what I want um, I want them to this is the middle. It's right here is the middle. So I need to go out. So there's my 3. I want space on either side. So here. And then we do the same thing over here. So that's 1, 2, 3. 2, right? 3? 1, 2, yep. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, are we going that big? Maybe. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'm going to have to make more of this stuff. Okay. That's actually one below the middle there. So let's go ahead and get my middle going here. Is this too big? Do you feel like this is too big? I know I had a much smaller, much smaller spawning space before. Do you feel like this is too big to do? Man, I don't know. All right, so now I only need to go 3 high. So everything inside of here would be roof. I feel like this is too big. I feel like this is too big. I'm going to shrink this down. I think the height is okay because this will be the middle, and then one space above it, and then the roof. I think that's okay. But I don't want it to have that much space to wander around in. But of course, this is all just an experiment because I don't know if this will even work. Because I don't know enough about how withers spawn. Alright, I'm going to tear off this outside extra stuff. And then we'll get the... Oh yeah, that's going to take forever. And then I'm going to get the height set. And then we'll probably call it a day, and I'll come back and work on this next time. And then we should be able to spawn the wither. Alright, so you're the middle here. That would be its top. And then I want that to be the ceiling. And so then 1, 2, we would go down here, and then this would be the floor. Dang it. That's not where I wanted to place that. Ooh, why can't I hit this spot? There we go. All right, well, with that, I am going to call it a day. So be better than small things. Lean to the light. I will talk to you later.